It is time for the weekly vlog. It is time for the weekly vlog. Welcome or welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. Let's go! What is going on with me? It is time for the reading vlog. It is time for the reading vlog. I think I'm just really excited to finally be doing a vlog. Hello and welcome. So in my last weekly vlog, I think I spent 2 minutes doing vlog stuff, and the rest of the time I responded to y'all's comments. In case you don't know, if you missed the most recent video that I did, I said in that one called responding to your comments that I am going to be doing bonus uploads where I respond to your comments because I have missed so much. I have missed doing my weekly vlogs. I can't wait, y'all. We need to discuss what I've been reading. We need to discuss what I've been watching. We need to discuss personal life updates. There is so much to talk about. And I'm so glad that it's a vlog, because it's going to make my life so much easier when it comes to editing. Yay! Because I honestly don't think I'm going to cut anything. I think I'm just going to basically go to the editor, place in the intro, place in the outro, add my intro that I do before the actual intro, this section, the outro, convert and upload, because there's just so much I want to say and I don't think I want to cut anything out. And for those of you who don't know, a little look behind the scenes, yeah, I am someone who can talk. I'm sure you can see that. And even I will go into my editing software, and the reason that I do is because I'm going, oh my gosh, Francy, you're saying so much you don't need to say right now. Like, this could be so much shorter if you just shushed. And so I cut things out of my videos. It doesn't make it any less authentic. It's just more, you know, all you need to know is the dot point, the dot point, the dot point. But why, Miss Francy, must every dot point come with a 5-minute thesis? But in vlogs, it is so casual that if I give you a 5-minute thesis, it stays in. So you get the whole thing. This is completely uncut. The only editing you're going to get is the lovely intro that comes in with the music and the outro that comes in with the music. Other than that, everything remains exactly the same. So we're going to jump right in, and I'm going to start with personal life update because otherwise I'll probably forget to mention it. And it is some really, really good news. Now, first of all, because, you know, I forgot to say this, and I always mean to and always do, but I forgot today. If you have been here before, welcome back. If you are new to the channel, welcome. It is wonderful to have you here. I'm so glad that you've chosen to join me today. Hello, welcome to the Mr. Francy energy. May you have some sparkles. I don't normally say that, but I should start. May you have some sparkles. Here you go. Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle. Some sparkles in your day. Woo! I'm sorry. I'm just a very happy person by nature, and I'm so glad that you're seeing it. Those of you who have been returning and leaving comments have been talking about the energy that I have in my videos, and I'm just, yeah, I'm glad that it comes through and that it's taken really, really well. So yes, welcome back. If you've been here before, great to have you back again, and if you are new, welcome! Welcome to the craziness in the best possible way that is the Mr. Francy channel. Hello! I tell you, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't, but I'm just on a natural high all the time. Unless something happens that makes me anxious, I do suffer from anxiety, and sometimes I can get a bit, if I'm anxious, but aside from that, I'm just a very happy person. I should have a sip of my drink. I love this cup, and no, it's not sponsored or anything, but I found this on Amazon, and as you can see, it's white at the top and colourful at the bottom. When you fill this cup with a cold drink, it makes the white become colourful, and it's really cute. But I do want to replace these because I've had some issues, but I love the colours, so There you go. All right, personal life update. We have spoken enough. It reminds me of that. What's that Simpsons episode where the nuclear plant stock goes up and Homer's stockbroker calls him and Homer says, "Okay, how much money can I make?" And the stockbroker goes, "No, we need to make small talk first. How's your family? Good. How's yours? Oh, good. Okay, now how much money?" Now that we know each other. Let's jump into the personal life update. So, for those of you who are new, I have, you can probably tell, I don't hide it. It is what it is. Went through a very dark period in my life where I wasn't on camera anymore for this very reason, but now I flaunt it because I don't care. My life is my life. I'm very authentic. I was born with a tooth disorder called ameliogenesis imperfecta. Yep. So I've lost a number of teeth, I've chipped a number of teeth, and the reason for this is because the genetic tooth disorder that I was literally born with, there was no helping it. I was born with it. What it means, ameliogenesis imperfecta, is that I was born without enamel on my teeth, which is the very hard outer layer of a tooth. And so because of this, I am much more susceptible to different things because of the lack of enamel. And one of those things is tooth sensitivity, but another is the fact that my teeth are much more likely to break or experience damage than your standard tooth that comes with enamel. Anyway, cutting a long story short, I have been dealing with a lot of issues with my teeth growing up. And, a lot of people that weren't so nice. But then I, made some friends who were lovely. And I'm so happy to be on booktube because you all are so lovely. I am yet to receive one comment about my teeth saying something horrible. And that says a lot, because if I was in another corner of YouTube, that may not be the case, and I'm aware of that. I'm aware that I take a risk every time I put myself out on camera because people do judge based on appearance. Not everyone does, but there are people who do. And I'm very fortunate that that's hasn't been the case. Anyway, for those of you who are new, you wouldn't be aware. For those of you who have, just a moment while I catch everyone up. I had been going to a ton of different dentist appointments to get quotes for the surgeries that I am going to need to get my teeth to where I want them. To give you a full rundown, basically at this point, there is nothing that I feel that can be done to save my current teeth. And so therefore, ultimately, I will need to have all of them extracted and replaced with either, what's the word that I'm searching for? The screw-in teeth things? Anyway, those, or dentures. And anyway, dentists have been quoting me the most ridiculous prices. I don't know. You know that quote, "I don't know how you sleep at night"? Like, seriously, the last dentist I went to was quoting me, and I kid you not, $100,000. And all I was thinking as I walked out of the dental, that dental place and was nearly breaking down in tears was, I don't think I can get away with robbing one bank, let alone 6, to pay $100,000 for this surgery for something that, not to get passionate, but I was born with this. I didn't have a choice. It's not like my lifestyle choices led to this. No, I was born with it. Anyway, so to cut a long story short, I did some research and found out that there is a wonderful dental company here in Australia that takes on people who are currently being paid welfare, which I am at the moment. I went in to my appointment, finally, woo, this week, and that's what I'm here to update you all on. So those of you who are returning knew I had the appointment. Those who are new didn't know the story. Now you do. Now let's explain. So the night before, I was really, really nervous, and I was saying to my mum, who I affectionately refer to as Mama Francy here on the channel, and, we talk pretty much every day. I said, "Mama Francy," I didn't say Mum Francy, I said Mum, but anyway, actually, I call her Mama Sita, even though she's Dutch. My mum's side of the family is Dutch, my father's side of the family is English, they come from England, and even though my mum's side of the family is Dutch, I call her Mamacita, she calls me Mijo, and so we're not Spanish at all, but we just do that. Anyway, so I was saying to my mum, it really doesn't matter, see what I mean about I can talk? I was saying to my mum how I was nervous, but I wasn't going to go in with any expectations because I have the last couple of times I've gone in to see dentists and always been so disappointed because I build myself up for nothing. And, yeah, so I said, I'm going to have no expectations at all going in. Whatever happens, if anything good happens, it's a bonus. And let me tell you, oh my goodness, wow, in the best possible way, wow. So anyway, I get in there to the dentist place, and I'm standing in line to tell the receptionist guy that I'm there, and, you know, I'm here, hello, because you need to tell them 15 minutes beforehand that you're there. So it's like, hey, I'm here, hello, Miss Francy, sparkle, sparkle. If only, right? But anyway, and I had to wait because the receptionist had to fix something, and that was fine. It was like a 5-minute wait. And while I was waiting, because I do suffer from anxiety, one of the ways I alleviate that is to look around and look at different things that I may notice to distract myself. So I was looking around at the reception area, and there was this, like, vase thing that was filled with flags, and one of those flags was the gay LGBTIQ plus flag. Oh my gosh, can I just tell y'all, I saw that flag and I was like, I'm home, I am home, this is so cool. I mean, saying cool kind of indicates my age, but you know what I mean. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm home. So anyway, I went up to the receptionist guy, told him I was there. Yep, all great. And he said, he told me how much it cost me for that day. I'll tell you what that is in a minute, because this is my whole point. If I'm going to tell you about the journey, part of that is how much everything costs. So I'll tell you about that in a moment. But I did say to him, do I pay before I go in or when I come out? And he said, no, the way it works here is that you pay first and then you go in for your appointment. It's a valid question. I don't know about y'all in different countries around the world, but in my experience in Melbourne, Australia, when I go into some sort of an appointment with a doctor or whatever else, some appointment like that, where there's a fee, sometimes you pay before you go in, sometimes you pay once the appointment is done. In this case, you pay before you go in. This is great for my anxiety because the payment's made and I can just let that anxiety go. Anyway, he charged me basically $31. I don't know if it was like $31 or $31.50 or something, but let's just round to the nearest whole number. He charged me $31, which is nothing. And I mean nothing compared to what normal dentists will charge just for a standard appointment. So I was like, oh, $31, that's fantastic. Like, I was thinking it'd be $60, $80, something like that. $31, are you kidding me? So anyway, I think of that line from Mrs. Doubtfire. Ooh, look at me, I'm sitting on a gold mine. Because $31, when I'm planning it's going to be $80, my first thought is I can buy 2 Cozy Mysteries for $50. Like, this is fantastic. But anyway, moving on. So I went and sat in the waiting room. Great news is they had chairs kind of like what you would see in a theatre, that were chairs that were connected to this like bar thing in rows facing forward. And I sat in the front row. And the great thing about that for my anxiety is everyone else was behind me. So I wasn't seeing anyone else. There was no one else in my row. That really helped my anxiety because it does really flare up when I am sitting in waiting rooms. Not for the dentist thing, for the waiting room thing. Anyone who's on the Discord, you all know, because we talk about this all the time. You guys are all amazing. That when I'm in a waiting room, my anxiety flares. It doesn't matter what I'm waiting for. I could be waiting to get, my winnings for a lotto ticket. I don't enter the lotto, but I'm giving you an example. My winnings for a lotto ticket and be anxious because I'm in a waiting room. But anyway, so filled out some forms, whatever, cutting a long story short, ended up going in to see the dentist, and the dentist was fantastic. She asked me if I had any questions, and I said I have 2. 1, I want to know if you've done research on ameliogenesis imperfecta, because to cut a long story short, the receptionist who got me this appointment told me she had spoken to the dentist and the dentist would do research on my specific condition. So I wanted to know if they had. And 2, budget. How much is all this going to cost? So anyway, she did a quick look at my teeth and then she said to me, okay, first things first that I'm going to tell you is your condition is called ameliogenesis imperfecta. She grabbed this chart and no dentist has ever done this with me. Like, I was so amazed. She sat down, she's like, now what this means is you have, see this outer layer right here? You don't have this. So because this is gone and you only have this means that Y'all, if y'all have a condition that a doctor has never researched and then finally you get one who does, you'll know how I felt in that moment. Like, oh my gosh, you actually did your research. So then we spoke about budget. Let me tell you, she said to me, don't quote me, it's either the next 3 or the next 4 times you come here, you'll be charged the same amount that you were today, $31. And then any other subsequent appointment, you will pay nothing. And I kind of was, with that saying, struck dumb, that saying, like, wait, hang on. I just want to confirm what you're saying because I think that I may be misinterpreting what you're saying here. And you go, no, this is what it is. And to cut a long story short, yeah, she's right. So I was right in my interpretation. So yeah, I paid 31 day 1 this week. My next 3 to 4 appointments, I will pay 31 again, regardless of what they do. And then every appointment from then onwards that I need will be absolutely free. Are you kidding me? Where has this company been all this time? So she told me our plan, we'll have more time in the next video to go over all the plans and whatever, but I was really happy with the plan. I left, went to the reception area because the receptionist needed to book in my subsequent appointments, and this head honcho lady came out, and I could tell right away she was a woman in authority at that place, and before she left the reception area, I said to her, I'm sorry, getting her attention. I said, I just want to say, I am so thankful for what you all do here. What's going to happen here for me is going to be so life-changing. And my voice was breaking. I'm like, I'm not going to cry. But just thank you so much. And she said, look, thank you. People don't say that. Like, people don't apparently show gratitude there. She was saying people just generally complain when they're here rather than saying thank you. So we appreciate that you are. And yes, that was wonderful. There's a whole lot coming up with me and my dentist appointments. The next one is in 2 weeks, which is so wonderful because it's meant to be in 3 months and it's in 2 weeks. So yay, it's going full steam ahead. But we'll talk more about that in my next reading vlog because we need to focus on reading now. But yeah. Full steam ahead. I could not be any more happy. I came home. I called Mama Francy. I cried my eyes out with happy tears. I tell you, if you're religious or not, believe or not, allow me to just say, God was smiling down on me. God was smiling down, and all I could hear was the words from the Simpsons episode where Milhouse says, everything's coming up, Milhouse! And I was like, yes, everything's coming up, Francy! It was so good. So, thank you everyone for all your support. It is happening. I am so excited. I can afford it. Full steam ahead. It is so good. Alright, reading. Okay, y'all, let's start the reading section with me saying that Mr. Francy is such a happy camper right now. I am in 5-star landia. I have read 5 stars in a row. 3 of those 5 stars were the last 3 books I read last year. 2 of them were the first 2 books I read this year, and the current read that I'm reading is on track to becoming a 5-star as well. I am so thankful. This has been an amazing journey. Now, let's discuss the first book that I read. Oh my gosh. This chunker of a book called Sufficiently Advanced Magic by Andrew Rowe. This is depending on who you ask, they're either going to tell you it's a YA, new adult, or adult fantasy book. You know what? The publisher says YA, so that's what I'm going to go with. So, this is a YA fantasy by Andrew Rowe, and the series premise of this series is that we follow a guy by the name of, oh my gosh, I had his name in my head a moment ago, and it is Corin! Yeah, I got a cookie! I didn't look! Woo! We follow a guy by the name of Corin, and Corin, Corin, and Corin, in his world, there is a tower that is very unoriginally referred to as the tower. But anyway, this tower has many levels with many floors, and the goal is to reach the top of the tower because once you get there, you meet a goddess who will grant you a boon. In order to get to the top, you need to go through all of the rooms, and in each and every single room, there is an obstacle to overcome. So it's a very exciting premise for a very exciting sounding series. In this first book, we follow Corin, whose brother went into the tower, but in the words of Alistair Moody in the Harry Potter movies, he never came out. And if you've seen the Harry Potter movies, you know what I mean by that line. He never came out. And so because he never came out, Corin wants to go through the tower and get to the top, find out what's going on with his brother, and so on. In this first book, we follow Corin as he goes through what I'm calling a qualifying simulation to get into a training school that is specifically catered to students to train them for what to expect and to be as prepared as possible before they finally enter the tower. But then some things kind of happen along the way at the training school, and yeah, it's a wild ride. Okay, I highly recommend this book for anyone that is a fan of the Cubed movie series, where, you know, same sort of setup. You have these people in these cubes that are mini rooms that have all these different obstacles. If you like that sort of thing, you'll love this book. But do be mindful, this is not a standalone where Corin goes into the tower, gets to the top, gets the boon. No, this is a series. It's going to take some time to get through. So with this first book, go in thinking there are going to be some simulation rooms where we get to experience what the tower may be like, but mostly we're going to go to a training school and train ourselves up and prepare to go into the tower. And I say us because I felt like I was in the book while I was reading it, so forgive me for saying us. Yeah, I will have to compliment Andrew Rowe on his amazing world building. World building, for those of you who don't know, is anything that builds up a world of fiction that an author has created. The world building of this world is so much more than I ever expected it to be. As I said, I expect this book to be a standalone. I expect it to go in, we go through the tower, we get to the top, call it a day, and, you know, the end, bing, bang, boom, we're done. And that did not happen. We go to the training school for a reason. There is so much to learn because the odds on dying in the tower are incredibly high. I feel like something like maybe 2%, don't quote me, of people who enter the tower make it to the top. The rest die, and that's with assistance. So you kind of need this training school. And the training school also talks about the magic system because it is a hard magic system and there are definitely limitations, very ghastly limitations, like you could die if you do something wrong. So yeah, there's a lot to learn. The world building is just fantastic. There is a lot to drink in with this world, with this first book. So I highly advise reading this book if any of what I've said appeals to you, but take your time as you go through it and leave your little notes, annotate your way through, whether you annotate in the book or, as I do, I have my own private Discord server purely for annotation purposes, and I left my notes and I was very thankful that I did. But I love this. 5 stars from me, and I will continue on with this series, the Arcane Ascension, series in 2026, because I have no room on my 2025 TBR, but highly recommend. This book is not talked about enough on booktube, and if you love fantasy and any of what I've said appeals to you, pick up the book. You won't regret it. There's a lot to it, and a lot to the world, so take your time, but it is absolutely fantastic. I forgot to mention my Jumpstart January readathon, so if you haven't joined us for that, link to my Discord is in the description. Please come along. It's been so much fun. We've had a lot of great chats about it so far. I read this book for my first audiobook of the year, so that's now been scratched off from my Jumpstart January readathon bingo board. The next book that I picked up during the past 8, 9, 11 days of 2025 was the prompt on my Jumpstart January for my first SAS list book of the year, Series About Series. Thank you, Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I have created a whole list of series that I want to start, continue on with, or complete by the end of the year, and my first book on that list, and therefore fulfilling that prompt for Jumpstart January, was this book, Dark Fae, by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. This is the first book in the Ruthless Boys series, which is the prequel series to the Zodiac Academy series. I got a little heated last time I spoke about Zodiac Academy. I'm not doing that this time. I've said my piece, I'm moving on, and I'm just now enjoying everything about Suzanne Valenti and Caroline Peckham. I mean, I feel like Suzanne Valenti is always said second because her name is second on the book. And, I want to start saying her name first. So, Suzanne Valenti, woo, and Caroline Peckham. But anyway, I love Zodiac Academy, and this is the prequel series, as I say, Ruthless Boys. So, in Zodiac Academy, the students go to a school called, yep, you guessed it, Zodiac Academy. In this series, which is set, I think, about 5 years prior, the students go to a school called Aurora Academy, aka AA. Really funny thing. This series is called the Ascension Arcade something series, so an AA series. This is an AA school. What BBs will I be reading in February? But anyway, this is a new adult fantasy book and series, and but I don't really use that age rating, so I'm just going to say adult, rounding it up. Fantasy book and series. This is book number 1. Now that you know all that, let's discuss the premise. We follow Elise, who is the woman on the cover, and we follow Elise, whose brother has died. He died before the start of chapter 1. In chapter 1, Elise is not happy. Yeah, of course, she's grieving the fact that her brother is dead. They had a very close relationship, but she's not happy or at all satisfied with the reason she's been given as to the cause of his death. Everyone is telling her that he died of a drug overdose, and she knows. It's not an emotional thing, it's more a logical thing. She knows this didn't happen. It wasn't an overdose. He wouldn't overdose. He's experienced too many bad things that have occurred to those who have overdosed, so he doesn't do drugs. And it's not a I just am standing up for my brother and saying he would never do this. No, she knows. He just wouldn't. I know him. He just would not do that. He's been affected by so many things that others did that he is so turned off by drugs. I know this is not the reason, and I'm determined to find out why he died. So, anyway, her brother took a test to get into Aurora Academy and he got in, and she wanted to go, but someone else had to stay home to look after their mother. So she said, you go, I'll stay here. And just like in Sufficiently Advanced Magic, her brother goes into, in this time, the school, and he, let's quote Alistair Moody again, never came out. So she wants to find out what the heck happened. Now, she has not been accepted into this school, but she's an amazing hacker. And I can tell you this because, again, this comes up in like chapter 1 or 2 that we find this out, so it's very early on. So she hacks her way into the school records, makes herself a student that way, and is able to pass through the gates. The gates of the school are a sentient being, so it's kind of surprising how she's walking through the gates going, oh, yay, it worked, because the gates are clearly recognizing me, so woohoo, let's go. Aside from the fact that it is a different school to Zodiac, everything else is kind of set up in the same way, in that the magic system is elemental. Anyone who attends Aurora Academy, just like with Zodiac, at least has one element that they can control, whether it be earth, air, fire, or water. And in this case, Elise can control air. In Zodiac Academy, our 2 main female protagonists, I think, controlled way more than one element, but you need to have at least one to get into these schools, and hers is air. Also, they are Fae members that attend these academies, but they also have the ability to, I'm an Animorph fan, so forgive me for saying it this way, morph into other creatures. And in this case, Elise is also a vampire. So she's a vampire with the ability of air, to control air, and she, in her Fae form, looks more human, but she can also morph into a vampire as well. And there are so many other creatures that are at the school, like as I say, when they're in their Fae, which is more human form, that they can morph into. One of them is a basilisk, which really surprised me, because not since Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, or well, Deathly Hallows for 2 seconds, but aside from that, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, have I read anything to do with a basilisk? So I was really, really thrilled about that. We also have a lion in this book, which we didn't have a lion in Zodiac, and then other things that we did have in Zodiac, such as like a dragon, for example, and Pegasus, or Pegasi, I don't know what the plural is there, and many other different things. Really, really, really fun. So she's going into this school to find out what the heck happened to her brother, and along the way, she's trying to make friends and, get in with the in crowd, because of course that can only help her in her bottom line, which is, again, to find out what she can about her brother. So doing that, she finds out that there are two major gangs in the school and that everyone is afraid of except for one teacher. However, the principal, the headmaster, is not that teacher. The principal is very scared of both gangs and they are just allowed to do what they do, basically. So you have the Obscura clan as well as the Lunar Brotherhood. And both sides are trying to get her to join their gang. Both leaders are very interested in her two ways. They're interested in her as a member of the gang. They're also interested in her in other ways. I'm sure you know what I'm trying to refer to, but in other ways. It's a spicy book as well. Anyway, and so on we go. Alright, that's enough of a premise. I don't want to spoil anything. So there you go. There's your premise. Let's talk about my thoughts and feelings. I loved this book so much. I'll be honest with y'all. I loved Zodiac Academy. I love Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti's writing and their world building. The first two chapters of this book, really, I didn't feel like I was back in a Zodiac world at all. And even though we're at another school, it is still part of the same world, let alone universe like Sanderson. We're in the same world. We're actually in the same area. So we're still in Solaria, which is where Zodiac Academy is set. And the first two chapters did not at all feel like it was set in Solaria in the way that Peckham and Valenti write. But once I got to chapter 3, I flew through the rest of this book and then got to the final chapter and was gasping for air. I need more of this series. Now, this is a buddy read that I am hosting alongside my dear friend Amy over on the Discord, the Ruthless Boys series. We're reading one book a month. If you'd like to join us, please do. There are extremely high levels of spice in this book, and I assume in the series, I don't know, haven't read the rest, but in this one, yes. So do be mindful of that going in. But if you have heard in the Zodiac Academy series how it's a bullying romance, I did not experience bullying in this book. I mean, if I did, it may have been like a 1 or 2 second thing that was dealt with so quickly that I forgot about it, honestly, but I didn't experience bullying in this book. So if you didn't pick up the Zodiac Academy because of the bullying that you'd heard, pick up this one if you're good with the high spice, because I just didn't see bullying in this book. So, yeah. But yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. That final chapter. Oh my gosh, I need to talk. I know Amy's currently reading this book. Amy, when you're done with the book, reach out to me because we need to talk about the final chapter. So good. 5 stars, my 5th 5-star in a row. I am so blessed. Currently, I am doing a buddy read with my dear friend Jessica from the YouTube channel, booktube channel, Lady Lovestead Reads, of a book that was not originally on my TBR, but when I found out about it, I knew I had to read it. And that is this book, Darkly, by Marisha Pessel. This is a YA mystery. We follow a girl by the name of Dia. I am currently there, which is not far in at all. I'm up to page 67, chapter 11. And my first complaint is that there are some chapters that are really short, and when I am annotating over on my private Discord server, chapter by chapter, I will finish writing my little chapter thoughts, then I'll read 2 pages, write again my thoughts, then another 2 pages, like, are you serious? Come on, we could have combined all these chapters into one, but anyway. But aside from that, that really is my only complaint. So we're following Dia, whose name is short for Arcadia. I'm gonna have a look. Yes, another cookie for me. Woo! We follow Dia, whose name is short for Arcadia. Sorry about the tassel there. How rude. So Dia is not trying to work out anything to do with the death of a brother. So yay! But anyway, getting that out of the way. Dia is a high schooler. It's a YA book. And she is applying to do a summer internship for this game creator that she absolutely loves, whose name is Louisiana something or other. Louisiana Vader! I wrote down the character names. Louisiana Vader, game creator of these, games called the Darkly games that are very involved. How involved, you asked? I'm really glad you did. the shortest manual that Louisiana Vader ever included in any Darkly game was 50 pages long. The longest one was 200 pages long. They are very involved. They are very full on. One example that Dia gives us in the first chapter or two is that she was playing one of the games with her mum and a couple of friends, and one of the rules was you have to play it at night time, you have to play it outside, so to say between the hours of 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. There's an audio accompaniment thing that really makes you feel like you've traveled to another world. It's really full on, these games, and she absolutely loves them. So unfortunately, when Louisiana Vader dies, she is understandably, Dia is understandably heartbroken, and there are applications for her to work at a summer internship to eventually work at the Louisiana Vader Foundation Society, which she would of course love to do given how much she loves this creator. So she has some half-hearted attempts that she makes to apply for this thing because so many people are applying around the world. They have a stat update of how many people have applied, and each time Dia keeps looking going, oh, this many people, this many people, this many people. But she fills out the forms, does not click submit, and then is doing something in her mother's store. She helps her mother. Her mother owns this antique shop. So she was helping her mother with something in the store. And then after that's done, she goes back to her computer, her laptop, and sees the application was submitted, even though she didn't mean to. She didn't submit it. It is submitted somehow. And she got in. Now, where I'm up to, you're getting no spoilers, because where I'm up to, we're just at the point now where she's arrived at the place and things are gonna go down. All I will say is this: she had to sign this very full-on contract, and part of that contract said, we at Darkly are in no way, shape, or form responsible for the result of death, decapitation, etc., etc., etc. And our main character is going, oh, they're probably going to get me to work in the factory because if one of those boards falls on my head and I have a concussion, they can't be held liable. Are you serious? I may have seen way too many what do you call them, thriller game movies, because I love that genre so much. But honey, I don't remember the premise. I remember reading it. I remember that I really wanted to read this book. I don't remember what the premise is. But in saying that I don't remember the premise, all I'm thinking is, honey, really? Are you really thinking that's what it's going to be? I think you're going to be pushed into a game and you could die. And that's why you had to sign the contract. But time will tell. I am very much enjoying this book, and I'm glad I paused where I did, because I feel like now that we've arrived at the venue, it's not Act 2, but I call it Act 2, is about to begin. So I can't wait. The moment this video is done, I'm back at this book. Jessica, thank you so much for making this a buddy read. For anyone who wants to get involved, it is a standalone and it's a short book. It is, where are we? 406 pages. So yeah, it's a short book. It's very quick on audio. I think it's 9 hours or something. So you still have time to join in. Check out Jessica's channel, Lady Lovestead Reads, and her Discord should be linked in the description over there. Check out her Discord. Come along and join us. It has been absolutely amazing, and you all know I wouldn't steer you wrong. If anything I've mentioned about this book sounds great to you, then I highly recommend picking it up for the point that I'm at right now. Still has a chance to let me down. But I know Jessica's reading ahead and she's all very excited about where things are, where she's at, so I'm very excited too. Thank you, Jessica. Very quick TV update. I know this has been long, but this is why I wanted to get back to all your comments in another video, because we had a lot to update. So, very quick TV update. There are many shows I'd like to update you on, but I will keep it to 2. One of them is a buddy watch that we are doing over on my Discord of a wonderful TV show called Stranger Things. I'm not going to put it up on the screen because I realized I'm not actually going to actively edit this one, so I'll just say it. Stranger Things, and I have watched the first 3 episodes. I'm taking my time with this series, and I am having the best time chatting about this show on my Discord. Anyone who has gotten involved, you all know how much I love this show, because I make it very obvious in my comments. I'm literally watching and typing comments as I watch with a timestamp, saying something like, 10 minutes and 3 seconds in. What the heck is this? And Oh, wait, so I'm really into it. But anyway, everyone is just, getting involved in the discussions with me and with others who are watching for the first time or rewatching, and we're all having a blast with the discussions. So thank you so much to everyone who is a buddy watching this and getting involved in the discussions. They have been so much fun. The show has been interesting so far. I thought it was a fantasy. It's not. It's a sci-fi, but that doesn't make it any less interesting. And the way that episode 3 ended, I need to watch episode 4. But I just want to let you all know, because some of you on the Discord are probably thinking, Mr. Francy, why are you taking so long to watch it? You love this show. I want to fully, wholly and completely immerse myself in every single episode of this show that I watch. And so therefore, if I'm tired or distracted, I don't want to watch an episode in that moment because it's going to affect my experience. So the goal, I've said this the past 2 nights, I'm saying it again today, the goal is tonight to finally watch episode 4. But if I don't, then the goal will be tomorrow night. I will get this first season done by the end of the month. More importantly, if you want to join us in this buddy watch, we are going season by season, 1 season a month. And I think there are 7 episodes in the first season. I think I'll have to double check that. But anyway, if you want to watch or rewatch, whatever your situation is, Stranger Things, and get through the first season by the end of the month, come along and join us with the conversations over with the Buddy Watch on the Discord. Why was that so hard to say? The other show that I'm watching, I've become obsessed. So anyway, I was one day sitting with my stepmother and my father, and we had ordered some food, and they had this show on, so I decided to just sit there and wait for the food. I then, eat my food in my room, but still is what it is. While we're waiting for the food, I was watching what they were watching. And they're watching this show. I couldn't stop laughing at the show that they were watching. And then when I said to my dad, what is this? What are you all watching? Because, oh my gosh, how have I not seen this? And they told me what it was called. I went, oh my gosh, y'all have been recommending this show to me. Why am I not watching it? So, before I tell you the show, they were watching season 6. I watched for 20 minutes. The food arrived, I went to my room, went back to season 1, started episode 1, and this was maybe 3-4 days ago, and I have already gotten up to the first episode of season 2 of Downton Abbey. How do I not know how amazing this show is? I love everyone. I am horrible with names, so I'm sorry about all my chats over on the Discord. I'm like, this one, the guy who's in charge, who's upstairs, I don't know his name. But anyway, the list of characters I don't love is so much shorter than the list of characters I do love. Maggie Smith is in this show, and oh my gosh, she plays this really uptight, snobbish grandmother. Every line she has, I can't help but laugh. They really give so much equal airtime to... For those who don't know, Downton Abbey is spoken about a lot, so you probably do. But for those who don't know, Downton is an estate, not an estate, it's like this mansion, and it's divided to the upper level and the lower level, the upper level being the people who run the house, the lords and ladies. It's a period drama, so the lords and ladies, and then the lower levels are for the servants. And the great thing is there is equal airtime to both classes, which I really, really, really appreciate. And the upper class people seem to have a lot of genuine respect for the lower class people, which is fantastic. You don't come across that a lot. I mainly love the servants, because that's what they're called in the show. So anyway, I mainly love the servants more than the upper class people, but I love Sybil so much. I know, before you'll try and yell the spoiler at me, I've read that spoiler that you're going to tell me about Sybil. Hasn't happened yet. I love Sybil. That's it. I love Sybil so much. Mary, I go up and down. Like some episodes I love her, some episodes I don't. The mum, same deal. Some episodes I love, some episodes I don't. The hunky next door neighbor dude, which I keep forgetting, Matthew, love him. in the servants' quarter, the guy with the limp, who I forgot his name, Mr. Bates. That's it. I remember his name because Anna keeps saying his name, like, oh, Mr. Bates, Mr. Bates. I'm like, oh yes, Mr. Bates. I love him. I love the leader servant guy so much. Mrs. O'Brien is starting to finally turn over a new leaf in season 2, which I really appreciate. Mrs. Hughes, I love. Mr. Pudmore, I love. What is that girl's name that helped Mr. Pudmore? Love her. Thomas. Oh my gosh. Wow. What a character to play. Not necessarily a big fan of Thomas and who he is and what he is doing, but what a role for that actor to play. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love this show. I'm obsessed. If you want to talk Downton with me, please do, because saying I love it is not fair. I'm obsessed with this show. I literally will put on the show and say I'm going to watch for 5 minutes, and we'll watch 2 episodes and then go, what happened to my 5 minutes of watching? It is so good. All right, I'm going to leave it there. This is a very long video, but it is purposefully a very long video. There was so much to catch up on. That we needed it to be this long. The next one won't be as long, but you know, some people love listening to these videos. You know, you'll just put in the earphones or just take your cell with you and do jobs and whatever, you know, around the house and listen. So I hope you enjoyed it, however you took it in. But I'm going to leave it there. If you want a Downton chat with me, chatting at Downton, we will have our lovely little tea party, my lady, and talk Downton. I am so up for it because I need to talk so much about this show. But anyway, lots of love. Letting you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind, love one another, and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle to you. And I will see you in the next one. Happy reading. Bye, everyone.